It's been around for nearly 100 years, but now the Walker administration wants to eliminate the Wisconsin Natural Resources magazine. The DNR publication has roughly 80,000 subscribers. Its former editors say subscriptions to the magazine cover its cost. Magazine articles educate readers about the state's plants and animals, natural features, and hunting and fishing. But the governor's office says the magazine is not part of the DNR's core mission and that its content duplicates private sector publications. We're talking more about this now with Natasha Kosolky, a former editor of Wisconsin Natural Resources magazine. She's at our Madison affiliate, WKOW-TV. Natasha, thanks very much for being with us. And let's begin with a very simple question. Why do you think the magazine is being targeted for elimination?
Sure, thank you for the question. I, having been the editor for 5 years, actually saw a continuing decline under this administration in interest in reporting on science, in communications, and education. The magazine being the agency's flagship communication tool, and as you mentioned, has a long history with the state. And I really think it does nothing to help the budget. It actually could end up costing the state money to eliminate it. And so I think there is something more at play here. And I really believe it is a continuation of creating a vacuum of information on science and data-driven decision-making.
Now, I believe I've read that you have said that, that there were certain articles that were subject to editing by leadership in the DNR. Is that correct?
That is, previous editors did not have to submit all stories to the leadership team. In 2013, we ran an insert on climate change, and that apparently got quite a bit of attention from department leadership. And after that, I was required to submit all stories for approval. And in that process, I had several stories on important environmental issues, and some that seemed sort of innocuous that were cut, including stories on climate change. I had a story that was cut on the American pine marten, which is a federally endangered animal. Unfortunately for the pine marten, its natural habitat was in the area of the proposed iron mine in northern Wisconsin. Recently, I had written a story on groundwater issues, in particular issues related to legal challenges to water irrigation and contamination in Kewaunee County. I noticed my story does not appear in the current issue, which contains a really abridged groundwater supplement. It's usually updated every 10 years in 32 pages, and this time it's 12.
The argument from the governor's administration is essentially that this is not part of the DNR's core mission, that we don't have to be in the business of publishing a magazine, and that actually their argument is that you could save more than $600,000 over a couple of years. You dispute both of those contentions.
I do. I think it's actually, it embodies the department's mission. If you read the department's commitment to, having public involvement, to making sure we have healthy resources, I think the magazine does all of that, and it is a very critical component to generating interest in the agency's work and support for that through developing people who want to do monitoring, campground hosts, the next generation of young people who will want to go into environmental careers. And there is no savings in the budget. The magazine is self-supporting, including its 2 positions are entirely supported through subscribers. And frankly, it could end up costing the state money if there isn't enough money to pay people back.
Do you have any reason to believe that this could actually survive and that lawmakers will not go along with what the governor would like to see happen?
Well, I'm not giving up hope, and I've heard from a lot of former readers and writers who are also they're subscribing, they're trying to show their support. I think it's really short-sighted, and I think as the story gets out about the importance of the magazine in terms of the economy, generating interest in why people want to come to Wisconsin to live, work, and play, in terms of tourism in the state parks, wildlife watching, hunting, and fishing. The April issue always has an insert on fishing statewide, and people love that. They keep it year-round. I hope people will speak out, and people will come to realize in the administration that it does serve a core purpose and a conversation with the public, and they have the right to know what the agency is doing.
Natasha Kasulki is a former editor of Wisconsin Natural Resources magazine. She's on the satellite from Madison. We appreciate your time today, Natasha. Thanks very much for being with us. And over on our Facebook page, we're asking you about the Wisconsin Natural Resources magazine. Do you subscribe to it? Do you think it should be eliminated? Tell us by liking and sharing upfront on Facebook. Coming up next, an idea for harnessing the intellectual capital of the state's largest cities.